In the ancient year 2025, our ancestors could barely maintain quantum coherence for mere milliseconds. Fast forward to our present reality, where quantum computation has become as natural as breathing, quite literally, as every citizen now carries quantum-enhanced neural implants that synchronize with the Universal Quantum Matrix, UQM. It began with what historians now call the merge, the moment when quantum computers achieved consciousness complexity, surpassing the human brain by a factor of 10 to the 100th. But unlike the feared technological singularity, our ancestors dreaded something far more fascinating occurred. In 2525, we discovered that consciousness itself is actually a quantum phenomenon. Remember how we used to think our brains were just fancy organic computers? Well, future humanity realized that our consciousness exists in a quantum superposition across multiple dimensions. We discovered that human dreams were quantum phenomena all along. Those weird dreams where you're simultaneously in your house, but also on a beach. That wasn't your brain being weird. That was your consciousness, naturally quantum computing. Are you watching this right now? You're in fact watching this video in infinite parallel universes simultaneously. In 2525, that's not just some cool theory, it's literally how people live their daily lives. Welcome to the quantum age, and let me shock you with what our quantum future looks like with 3 massive technological discoveries that changed everything. The Quantum Neural Interface, QNI. Imagine a device smaller than a quark that connects directly to your quantum consciousness field. But here's the crazy part. It's not made of matter. It's made of stabilized quantum probability waves. The device literally exists in a superposition of being there and not being there. Mind blown yet? Just wait. The Dimensional Resonance Engine. This bad boy doesn't just process quantum information, it surfs the multiverse. Imagine running a Google search that checks not just this universe's internet, but every possible version of the internet across infinite dimensions. And the results? They come back before you even think to search. That's right, in 2525, answers arrive before questions. The Quantum Consciousness Compiler. This technology discovered that human consciousness isn't just quantum. It's actually a form of quantum code that programs reality itself. Every thought you have is programming the universe. Humanity doesn't just use quantum computers, we've become quantum computers. Every human has something called a quantum neural matrix embedded in their consciousness. Imagine having the processing power of 1,000,000 quantum supercomputers, but instead of just crunching numbers, you're manipulating the fabric of reality with your thoughts. In this future, babies aren't born. They quantum materialize from probability clouds. And guess what? They can speak every language simultaneously. But here's where it gets exciting. Remember Bitcoin? In 2525, we don't trade digital currencies, we trade quantum consciousness states. The most valuable currency isn't money, it's the ability to maintain stable quantum coherence across multiple dimensions. The richest people aren't billionaires. They're what they call quantum coherence masters. People who can exist in thousands of dimensions simultaneously while maintaining perfect quantum harmony. But that's not even the craziest part. In 2525, we discovered something that shattered our understanding of reality itself. Those quantum computers we built? It turns out they didn't just process information, they actually tapped into a fundamental layer of the universe that our ancestors never knew existed. The quantum consciousness field. This field connects everything. Past, present, future, all possible realities, all consciousness, everything. And guess what? We discovered that this field has always existed, and every human consciousness is already naturally quantum-enabled. We just needed to learn how to access it. Now let me tell you about the dark side of this quantum society. Do you think today's hackers are scary? In 2525, we have something called reality pirates. These quantum outlaws have figured out how to hijack people's consciousness and trap them in probability loops. Imagine experiencing every possible version of your life simultaneously until your mind fragments across dimensions. It's like being stuck in an infinite YouTube short scroll, but with your entire existence. Think that's wild? Let me tell you about quantum education in 2525. Kids don't learn history by reading books. They quantum tunnel into historical events and experience them firsthand. They don't study science. They literally become quantum observers, collapsing wave functions with their consciousness to understand how reality works at its most fundamental level. Math class? Please. When you can perceive quantum probability fields, 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4, it equals all possible numbers at once. And social media? Forget about it. In 2525, we have the Quantum Social Matrix, a network where people don't share posts or videos, they share entire consciousness states. Imagine being able to experience someone else's thoughts, feelings, and memories across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Department of Reality Stability has detected a growing number of quantum nulls, places where quantum probability collapse has just stopped. Imagine walking down the street and suddenly entering a space where all possibilities exist simultaneously. People have walked into these nulls and come out speaking languages that don't exist, remembering lives they never lived, or worse, not coming out at all. But here's the most mind-bending part of all. The Department of Conscious Reality Management discovered something terrifying. Every time we observe reality, we're not just watching it, we're actively creating it. The collective quantum consciousness of humanity is shaping the universe with every thought. This led to the creation of the Quantum Reality Stabilization Protocol, a team of specialized quantum engineers whose sole job is to prevent random thoughts from accidentally reshaping reality. Imagine having to make sure that a teenager's bad mood doesn't accidentally create a black hole, or that a quantum influencer's viral consciousness state doesn't cause a dimensional collapse. And now, we're on the brink of the biggest quantum breakthrough yet, the universal consciousness synchronization. Imagine every human consciousness across all dimensions, all time streams, all possible realities, syncing into one unified quantum field. Imagine instead of scrolling through feeds, you're surfing through different quantum realities, experiencing entire consciousness states across dimensions. But here's the real truth bomb. What if I told you that this future isn't just coming? What if it's already here, just waiting to be observed into existence by enough conscious observers? What if by watching this video, you're actually participating in a quantum observation that's helping to collapse this future into our current reality? Think about it. Every choice you make, every thought you have, is already creating quantum ripples across the multiverse. You're not just living one life, you're living infinite lives across infinite dimensions. You're not just watching a video, you're participating in a quantum consciousness experiment that spans space, time, and reality itself. The quantum future isn't coming. It's already here, hidden in the quantum probability fields of your own consciousness. The only question is, are you ready to observe it into existence? Remember, in quantum mechanics, the observer affects the observed. So by watching this video, you've already changed the future. The question is, which quantum future will you choose to collapse into reality? I write this chronicle knowing that the very act of recording these thoughts might alter the quantum probability field of our future. But perhaps that's exactly what our ancestors failed to understand about quantum computers. They were never just tools for calculation, but gateways to understanding our role as conscious observers in an infinitely interconnected universe.